Hello, and welcome to the show called Joey Answers Your Questions, the show. This has been a long time coming. You guys ask a lot of questions in the main video's comments section, and I figured this is perfect content for the second channel that I've been underutilizing completely. I'm just gonna be sipping on a coffee, going through these questions, and hopefully we can all come out of this smarter and wiser and fully torqued. Lana Mayberry says, honestly, I'd love to just learn more about you as a human being. What attracted you to self-improvement? Why? How old are you? Are you in a relationship? Basically just questions that I'd be interested in learning about a new friend. I think COVID-19 has got me wanting to feel like we're all friends now. Ha 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 ha. Okay, that's a lot of questions, but we're gonna go through one of them, or go through all of them one by one. What attracted you to self-improvement? I think my own self-improvement journey started somewhere around the age of 15. Maybe I was watching a lot of James Bond movies or Indiana Jones, and something kind of clicked where I realized that you could live life on a higher level, or you could forge your own destiny in a way. And that sounds super cheesy, and in a way it is, for sure. I guess I just realized that your future is entirely yours. It's in your control. You can take steps to improve your habits, your personality. Yeah, I don't know what it was about self-improvement books, but I really just felt like I was gaining something. I was like upgrading something. Nowadays, I don't really read a ton of self-improvement books because sooner or later you realize that they're all kind of saying the same thing. Not every single one of them, but yeah, it all just came from this idea that you have a potential, and I was just really interested in realizing that potential, I guess. How old are you? I am 23 years old, turning 24 this year. Are you in a relationship? I'm not in a relationship. Basically just questions, blah, 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 blah. Cool, thank you for your questions. I feel like some of you already know some of those things, but it's new information for a lot of you. So thank you for your question, Lana. Next question comes from Violier. I've seen your name so many times, like even in back when we had a Discord, and I think the Discord still exists somewhere. There's a link you can find somewhere, but it's a little bit dead. You said, what's your favorite book that isn't related to self-improvement? That's a very, very good question. I feel like one of my favorite books of all time is King Solomon's Mines, and I actually read the abridged version of that book. I know it's kind of a crime, but even the abridged version of that book back when I was a kid, it made me really want to just adventure with a group of guys, do crazy shit, find some sort of uncontacted tribe and help them achieve prosperity and help them fight in wars and stuff. I don't know. It sort of has the same, not the same plot, but a similar plot to The Road to El Dorado, that old DreamWorks cartoon. Actually, the plot's pretty different, but there are elements that are shared between them, and I just find that whole going on a crazy adventure, that whole hero's journey arc to be super interesting. And I remember really enjoying that as a kid. So excellent question. Gonench, I don't know how to say your first name, but your last name is Mete, kind of like Victor Mete, one of my favorite little defensemen on the Montreal Canadiens, says, how can somebody be less dependent on positive feedback? I'm working on a project and I love getting honest feedback. However, anything less than perfectly positive feedback is damaging my motivation. How can someone strike a balance between positive and constructive thoughts, especially from yourself? That's a very good question. And it sounds like you're dependent too much on your ego. And I don't mean like you have a giant ego and you're cocky or anything like that. But what I mean by that is this front that you present to the world. You're very concerned with maintaining this front of maybe perfection or something. And obviously I'm just whipping out a random diagnosis. I don't know you or anything, but it sounds very similar to what I had to deal with my filmmaking skills going through my film classes in university. I've mentioned this in other videos, but I was really hesitant to give other people compliments on their work because I wanted to be the best in the class. And I felt like, you know, my ego was so big that I felt like complimenting other people on their work took away from the recognition I deserved on my own work, even though I was perfectly aware that my work was not perfect at all. but I wanted to maintain this front like it was. This is all emotional, egotistical thinking, and it may not seem sinister or anything, but it is sinister in the way that it kind of messes with your head. This happens to literally everybody. One way to that's really helped me break out of that is to become fans of other people's work. Give compliments freely and liberally to other people's work. Try to find things that you really like about the works of others, their projects they're working on, whatever. This will force you to become more objective. You become more able to call things like you see it, and you can sort of do that with your own work as well. You can kind of step outside of this whole ego trap and just view your work for what it is, its strengths, its weaknesses, etc., etc. Maybe not a perfect answer for you, but it's something that's helped me. So compliment other people, become a fan of other people's work, and you may notice that you become more objective and honest about your own. Lara X817X says, what is your most effective tip against overthinking? It feels like I kinda got used to it, and now I can't read anything. It feels like I kinda got used to it, and now it just destroys every aspect of my life. Greetings from Switzerland. Now, this might not be the tip that you wanted, but it's the tip I'm gonna give you. Meditate. Might be a cop-out answer, but this is everything that meditation is trying to, or mindfulness or whatever you wanna call it. That is the goal, is to observe your thoughts for what they are, welcome them and fully accept them, and release them and become present in the present moment. Your mind is a weird thing. It has so much information going on in there that if you were to pick apart all the little things and all the little thoughts bouncing around inside your head, you would surely go insane. You know, you don't force yourself to not think, but just take a step back, breathe deep, view your thoughts for what they are. Don't try to figure anything out. Don't try to problem solve, but just really be in tune with what you're thinking, what emotions are going through your body, and try to just accept them for what they are, and then move on and go and do something else. It sounds overly simplistic, but you're trying to combat complexity and the crazy thoughts going on in your mind, so simplicity is the answer. So try to get into meditation or mindfulness, or at least do something that helps you become very present, and integrate that into your day. Lock it in as a habit. And then that way you have a little escape or a little patch of calm, an oasis in the desert that you can cling to during your day-to-day life. AJ Santos says, holy smokes. That's not what he said, that's what I said about my laptop falling. Hey Joey, hope you're doing well. Here is my question. What's your best advice for managing anger or training your patience? Consider dabbling with stoicism, because stoicism is all about accepting the things that are out of your control and only trying to change the things that are completely in your realm of control. Things that are completely out of your control will be the traffic on your commute home from work, the fact that you'll die one day, you know, crazy things happening in the world right now. These are all things that are pretty much entirely out of your own individual control. So to let them stir your emotions, make you fester with anger, they're all futile emotions completely. They have no use in your life. They don't serve any purpose whatsoever. So Stoicism is all about training you to let go of these types of things so that you have more energy to focus on the things that you can control. So I'd consider reading the works of Ryan Holiday before you dive into something like, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius or something. I'd strongly consider reading Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. It's a book that I feel like it would directly address your issue pretty well and give you a fresh perspective. Cabron says, what fulfills you on a daily basis? What do you appreciate on a daily basis? And financial advice. What is one of your lifetime goals? I think for me, it's the little things. Doing the little things very well. Showing up to the gym, having a good conversation with a friend, waking up when you said you're going to wake up, cooking yourself a good meal. I feel like some of the greatest joys in life can be found in good routine. I think you subconsciously know when you're doing something that's good for you. something that is building you up, and yeah, something that's just overall benefiting your entire existence. Even if it doesn't feel good in the moment, there is this sort of baseline fulfillment that kind of it continues to increase. Your existence sucks less. Me and my mom were just talking about this actually, and she, said that one of the best satisfactions in life is serving other people. And I completely agree with that. And I realize that it's something I don't do enough in my own life, just sacrificing some of your own comfort for the good of another. I feel like I really need to start volunteering somewhere, or, go to Zimbabwe or something and help people build houses or something. Something that I need to lock in as a habit is just finding a way to serve other people and improve the lives of other people. I guess in a way I do that with these videos. But at the same time, it's not like I'm not benefiting from making these videos. It's how I make my living. It's, benefiting me financially, gives me something to do. In a way, I feel like if I were to try to take these videos to the next level, yeah, I would really try to find a way to make them even more substantial, even more impactful to people. I feel like that would be a way that I could transactionally make myself feel better and more fulfilled. But it's funny with that kind of thing, because you technically are benefiting. How do you feel more fulfilled in life? And if I give you the answer by helping other people selflessly, it's not entirely selfless, because I am gaining that satisfaction that I'm doing the right thing. But it's funny how I feel like humans are designed that way, that helping others also helps ourselves. And helps us feel a sense of purpose and fulfillment. It's almost paradoxical in a way, and it seems counterintuitive, but I really think there is something there. Giving to others and expecting nothing in return, and not even wanting anything in return, makes you feel really, really good inside, which makes you want to do that more. And if everyone kind of realized the power of just giving without expecting anything in return, I feel like the world would be a lot better of a place. There's my long answer. It's becoming clear to me that there are little things that fulfill me on a daily basis, but I need more of the service to others kind of fulfillment, because I think that's where I could use the most work. Okay. Gabe Duncan says, what do you think is the single biggest obstacle to self-improvement? I would say that the single biggest obstacle in self-improvement is not liking yourself. And that does a lot to negatively impact your self-improvement, because if you don't like yourself, you would think that that would give you incentive to improve yourself so that you can like yourself more. And that's what a lot of people think, right? But if you don't like yourself, you subconsciously don't have any reason to improve yourself, because you're not worth improving. So that's a very negative mindset to have, is to have a very low self-esteem or a very low opinion of yourself. And that usually comes or becomes or manifests because of this internal dialogue, like a negative, berating internal dialogue when you mess up or make mistakes or you don't reach perfection. You start to become really, really hard on yourself. When you treat yourself like crap, you start to think, oh, maybe I'm not really worth a whole lot, which gives you pretty much no reason to improve yourself, because you're not worth it, right? It just creates this negative spiral that all starts with how you speak to yourself, what kind of internal dialogue that you're giving yourself, and what kind of crazy standards you're trying to live up to. Watch your internal dialogue. It does a lot to you. I've never been a everyone gets an award kind of guy, participation medals left, right, and center. But there is something to be said for being proud of the little accomplishments that you make throughout the day, because if you are like, this isn't good enough, you're just not gonna do it. My nephew's name is Gabe. Okay, so Timothy says, what is your background? Where did you grow up, go to college, what degree, etc.? I grew up in a very small town on the Sunshine Coast of British Columbia, Canada. I was homeschooled for most of my life, and then I went to a private university in the lower mainland of BC, which is near Vancouver. And I got a degree in media and communications, which took me 5 years because I switched, because I started off as a music major playing the piano for the first year and a half. But then I decided to go more the filmmaking and media production route. And I don't think the degree really helped me do anything. But it was good to get it as a fallback. Not that anyone in the world needs a communication major running their business or anything, but I have it. Arne Holmstad says, was that Arne? Arne Holmstad. Steve Harvey talks about finding and living in your gift, talent. What are your thoughts on it? How can one utilize one's gift optimally? And would you consider making a video about it? I feel like that's very similar to Robert Greene's Mastery. I did make a video about it, and it was called the one thing, the something to the life. All my videos end with something to do with your life, to improve your life, the ruining your life. It was one of the life videos, I think. It had the thumbnail of me reading a book. I mean, actually, they all have me reading a book. But there's like a video camera behind me. I have headphones on. I'm sitting cross-legged on the floor in a dark room. Anyways, that probably doesn't narrow it down. But yeah, no, I feel like there's something to be said for realizing what your strengths are. Maybe people have something very particular that they're very, very good at. And I feel like if you enjoy doing that thing, that is like the first step to being able to fully develop that thing. And that's what Robert Greene talks about in Mastery a lot, is that a lot of people try to force a square peg into a round hole. They do something that they don't really like, but they just are they're expected to do it because of family pressure or societal pressure or something, and they don't really like it. They'll probably never ever become a master at that thing. Mastery takes so much work that you actually need to be interested in finding out the secrets behind it, understanding it on a deeper level, basically using it to become a game changer, to change lives, change the world, and yourself. So the first step is to actually like the thing that you're doing. Did that have anything to do with your question? Or just read Mastery by Robert Greene. I feel like that's the best answer. You know what, guys? I took 40 questions. I'm only gonna answer those 9 today because they take a lot more time than I thought, and I've got to get going, but I'm going to edit this video, upload it to the channel, and I'm gonna get through more of the questions. So this will be an ongoing series. I'll leave this whole camera setup right here the way it is so that I can hop on the next questions. If you want me to answer more questions, comment on this video below and we'll add it to the next time. And we're just gonna have endless content. I can just interact with you guys, constantly talk about these questions that you have. And it's just endless content for this channel. And we can finally have some regular consistency in the Better Ideas community. So thanks a lot for your questions. Hope you guys have an awesome day or night whenever you're watching. Looking forward to doing the next one. And see you later, guys.